So today we're going to be looking at some insane credit card debt. There are so many people who are happily just putting out their own personal business on how much credit card debt they are in, and some of the numbers are insane. I don't know how any responsible adult could rack up that much money. I was intrigued to see what the average credit card debt is in the UK, and per household it is basically £2,500 in the UK. And when you get to America, where the big dogs of debt are, it is $6,700. That is a crazy amount per household. Yeah, without further ado, let's look at some of these crazy debt stories.
I thought it would be funny to show y'all how much debt I've racked up since getting fired in September and being unemployed for the last months. It's pretty bad. I only have 3 cards and I've maxed out majority of them. So here's one credit.
Why did she look so proud about it though? That's what I want to know. 5,105. I mean, I understand being unemployed is very difficult, and money they give you for universal credit or unemployment in the US probably isn't that much. I mean, I know the universal credit one is barely enough to live if you have bills, but you would think if you're unemployed, you would cut back on a bunch of stuff. But 5,000 on a card is crazy.
Here's my second, which is maxed out, actually
4,100
over. Interestingly enough.
That one has no available credit. She said it's over.
Same for this one.
Over the credit limit. Oh dear. 2,300. Oh dear.
Meaning that's a whopping $11,632.98. By the way, I'm 23. So there's that.
Why is she so proud of it though? That's what I want to know. Like, you could say, oh, you could feel sorry for me, I have all this debt, I lost my job. Irresponsible spending is always a bad idea. How are you 11,600 in debt? That's a whole year of part-time job work almost. You know what I mean? Like, in the UK, let's say you manage to work 20 hours a week, you're probably going to get somewhere between 1 to 1,200 a month, let's say. That's probably the same amount of money that debt is. How long is that debt going to take you to pay off? It's crazy. And you know, if she doesn't get a job, she's just going to rack up and rack up and rack up more. All of these comments here are a disgrace as well, bro. People saying that they have a job and they have the same amount of debt, and that one guy saying he's 15k maxed out on one card. It's just like, it's just crazy work that some people do not give a fuck.
I have a question. How much credit? Because for context, I'm 26. I've been working since 17, paying for my own shit, moved out at 18, have been independent ever since. And I have $10,000 worth of credit card debt. And I will be the first to admit that I'm not perfect. I've definitely paid off medical bills and like emergency vet visits and things on my credit card, but I've also bought a lot of dumb shit. But it's like,
well, that's the thing. It's discipline. Discipline with your spending, really and truly. Like, you can't spend more than you bring in. That's just rule 1, right? And if your credit card is more than your monthly income, like, so this is the way you have to be careful, because sometimes credit card companies will just offer you cards with limits that are way more than you earn. Like, at one point I was earning, I think it was a part-time job, 1,100 a month, and they put my credit card limit to 4,000. I couldn't afford that. You know what I mean? I couldn't afford to spend 4,000 a month because I wasn't bringing it in. You know what I mean? So it's crazy that some people will just spend and spend and spend on credit cards. And I understand in this girl's situation, she moved out at 18. It can be very difficult, especially if you have no support from parents or anyone to give you some additional help when you need it. And maybe you have to rely on credit cards. But the fact that she has like 10,000, right? That isn't just a few irresponsible purchases for sure.
it's like people my age have $55,000 worth of credit card debt.
Yeah, those people are stupid. Let's be honest. If you have 55,000 at 26 years old, you are brain dead and you definitely need to seek help. You probably need therapy because you do not give a fuck. You know, it's one of those, they just do not care. I don't understand how people could do that. Like, at that point, that's compounding so fast, you're going to be struggling for years to pay it off.
Do you see how my eye's twitching? That shit stresses me out. Like, $55,000 is my take-home salary from my last job. Like, I think I'm just morbidly curious on, like, what gets you to the point of $55,000 worth of credit card debt? Also, who gave you $55,000 worth of credit in general?
Well, this is the thing with credit card companies, right? If you've been a customer with them for a while, they'll just keep upping your credit card limit. You could call them and ask them to up it, they might do it. And then people could just keep opening credit cards. Like, a lot of credit card companies don't care, they'll just give you a credit card. You know what I mean? You could apply for as many as you like. One of the double-edged swords about it is the amount of credit you're eligible for is also a big indicator to your credit score. So let's say I have 5,000 in available credit, right? If I up that to 10,000, it's going to look more favorably on me, right? If I open another credit card, I get 10,000. Wow, you've got 10,000 of credit. And then maybe other credit card companies will do it. But then again, they know they're going to make money from you. That's the thing with a lot of these credit card companies. They know if people don't pay them back, that's how they make the majority of their money. So hello, of course they're going to give you a big credit limit because they're hoping that you go over the limit or you spend more than you could afford, really.
Not to mention, my credit usage, way high. Like 90-something%.
That's crazy.
So my interest rates, 30%. Like, the interest would make me want to throw up.
You shouldn't be using 90% of your credit line really and truly, unless you have a massive purchase and it just takes that up. But credit cards are there to be paid off every single month. Spend what you can afford and pay it off. That's how you up your credit slowly but surely. This woman saying she spends 90% of credit. I think, like, ideally you don't want to spend more than 30%.
I have $40,000 in credit card debt. 40. So let's talk about it. First of all, that is a statement I would be taking to my grave. I never thought I would tell another soul. And in fact, until today, I have never told another soul about my struggles with credit card debt, because this is not the beginning. If we rewind all the way back to about 19 or 20-year-old Lana, that is when my journey with credit card debt began. I was 19 years old and I was dating a man who was 31, and he did not support me or help me financially in any way, and I was trying to live his lifestyle off my minimum wage job, and I was living outside my means.
That's a big thing, people living outside their means. They see their friends, you know, they see people on Instagram or YouTube flexing money, cars, and they're like, I want to live like that, but I don't have a job or the money to do that. How can I get that quick? Credit card debt. Why save up for something when you could get it tomorrow?
I got myself into credit card debt. I stayed in credit card debt until I was about 21, at which point I was able to pay it off over the course of just like really cutting back and being very diligent about making as many extra payments as I could to my debt. And then I got out of it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the most freeing thing. I'm never doing that again.
It's just like an anchor. Like when you have one of those fat anchor payments, whether it's a car or rent or a phone, when you get rid of it, it feels so good. But obviously she was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go do it again.
And then I paid that debt off. And you know what? I repeated the cycle again. I'm in my third cycle of credit card debt. And at this point, my threshold has just gotten so big. Your threshold for debt increases with time, right? It's just like your threshold for anything else that creates stress in your life.
I mean, I think people become okay with it. I think that's mainly what it is. People just become okay with it. They just resign themselves to it. And then they go into the doom spending cycle where they just keep upping and upping and upping and they just don't care. So she's not the only one with insane credit card debt. There's a bunch of people on TikTok who just...
This is the scariest thing I will ever admit on the internet, but hi, I'm Lucy and I am in £12,000 of credit card debt. I know to some people that will feel like it's not very much and like a hell of a lot of money to be in credit card debt too. For me personally, it feels very, very overwhelming and that we're never going to be able to get rid of it. For the longest time, I've held so much shame around the fact that I have that credit card debt. What started out as putting a holiday on the credit card, nothing crazy.
Well, holidays on a credit card is mad. If you can't afford it, you shouldn't be going on holiday. I'm just going to say it, bro. And this whole idea that it's such a big thing to come out, sure, it's embarrassing to admit. I think we should feel shame about stuff like this. You should feel shame about your bad decisions. You shouldn't come on TikTok to out here and try and get people to validate your bad decisions and be like, oh, I feel so bad about it. Do something about it then, innit?
Has then turned into, we have a house renovation and there's things that we have to pay for to get the house done to be able to sell it and recoup our money. So we've put that on the credit card. Realistically, we haven't been using it to fund some crazy lifestyle that we can't keep up with. Nonetheless, it's still there. It's still something that we have to pay.
You see, I don't believe that unless people show the transactions. Like, why are you putting house renovations on a fucking credit card? Why? Opportunity cost. They're saying they wanted to recoup the money on their house. Let's say you were recouping a decent amount from renovating the house, right? Were the renovations just offsetting the cost? Would you have been able to keep more money or made less of a loss if you didn't renovate it? You gotta do opportunity cost sometimes.
The current cost of living and all of our bills increasing literally every single month. It honestly sometimes feels like we're on a sinking ship and there's no way out. I've actually wanted to come on here for a really long time and talk about it, but at the same time, by not talking about it, it feels like I can kind of ignore it and pretend that it's not there. I know that so many other people are probably in the same situation as me. With social media usually only being a highlight reel with all the best things shown, I feel like this is something that's really, really important to talk about. I'd love to hear from anybody that is also going in the same situation, or maybe you've been in debt and you've got out of it. Feeling very vulnerable right now, but I'm hoping now that it's out there, I can begin to actually tackle it.
I'm not sure how putting it on TikTok's going to make you tackle it. I just think no matter how positive or how whatever vibes you want to put out by admitting it because it's going to help people, you're not going to help yourself unless you pay and sacrifice. And I don't believe this whole thing that people weren't living beyond their means and putting it on. Yes, certain people may have emergencies, especially in the US. If you have a medical emergency and you have to put it on a credit card, I can understand that, right? Saying I put house renovations and holidays on my credit card is a mad thing. And then like trying to say the cost of living is why you've got credit card debt. Mad.
You have two Credit One accounts. If we see someone with a Credit One account, they're pretty much the bottom of the barrel when it comes to any use of credit in the world.
Yes, I'm trying to boost my credit.
Why? You're only getting taken credit. You boost the credit score to take advantage of credit, but credit's only ever taken advantage of you. So what credit are you trying to...
See, this is the mental gymnastics people do when it comes to credit and credit cards. They're like, well, if I spend on this, I'm going to up my credit in the long run. It doesn't matter if I miss a few payments, right? Maybe charge interest, right? Because my credit's increasing. The reality is, one, you miss a payment, your credit is going to tank, right? People are going to see that and people who are on this show, you already know their finances are in a terrible way, right? So yeah, and even if you're making minimum payments, that interest is going to offset any credit increase, because the reality is you're just going to be losing a lot more money you could have saved or invested or done something else with.
Take advantage of by boosting your credit.
It's for emergencies.
Emergency credit card is not a good thing.
But when you don't have a...
I understand that life happens and some people have to use a card in case of emergency. That's when we sit down and we're like, okay, let's aggressively pay it off and cut back on everything other than life's necessities.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying
No,
to
sure.
be...
Yeah, what are you trying to take advantage of?
I want to answer correctly.
Okay. No, it's okay. You're
I
second of
needed
your
new
life.
clothes.
That was the emergency, by the way. The emergency credit card was that you needed new clothes.
With my credit card, I maxed that out to $4,000.
What do you mean you max it out?
So my parents got me a credit card, and I ended a max credit limit of $8,000. So I could spend.
You see, that's crazy, because obviously she wasn't earning that. And I don't understand why people see the credit increase and think they can spend more money. They say, I don't know how it works. Google it, bro. You should know how it works.
Spend up to $8,000. That's what that means, right? So I would use it, and I got confused.
If you're gonna say it's
with
free money, is that what was coming? I don't want to hear that.
the credit limit. Me and my boyfriend, me and my friends, we would go out, and I'm like, oh, I'll pay for everybody. I got it. I'll spend the money. Don't worry about it. It's just a credit card. So I would pay and pay and pay and pay, and then I called my mom one day, and I wanted her to be proud of me. So I was just like, hey, I've got $4,000 credit on my credit card, and she's like, credit limit or credit debt? I was like, what's debt? And she's like,
yeah, I don't believe this story, and two, how stupid do you have to be?
oh, that's bad. I'm like, I thought that was good. And then they were like, you're not going to pay this off in time. Give it to me. So my parents took it, and they're still currently paying it off right now.
Oh.
That's a disgusting, bro. How can her parents still be paying that off? This is one thing as well. Parents need to be a bit harder on their kids, bro. Make her pay that shit off. $4,000 is not a small amount of money to find extra in your bill, especially if you're stretched to the point where you're struggling.
Our balance on a credit card is currently $4,031 when the max credit limit on this card is $4,000.
That's the interest payment.
Yes.
So
And also $70.37 of purchases.
I haven't been able to use that credit card because it's maxed out. So
Obviously you have.
Says the person who went to McDonald's, KFC, Chick-fil-A, Taco Cabana.
What kills me about this show is the things people will go into debt for. A lot of the time it's fast food. Like, guys, fast food ain't even that good. Like, most of it's shit. Most of it makes you feel shit, makes you feel ill. When I had a lot of disposable income, I would go a decent amount, but like, it makes no sense to go into debt over Taco Bell and KFC, bro. Especially KFC, fucking hell.
when was that?
Last month. We always go over the most recent month.
Well, duh, because I was homeless. I had to eat.
I was homeless, I had to eat. I mean, that is a valid excuse to get fast food, I guess, if you have no way to cook stuff, but it's just the way she said it.
We started with $10,569 on our credit card, which already, as a balance, makes me
Yep, me too.
want to die. And then it's of $500. We had a credit of $331. That's awesome. But then $5,258 of purchases, which is just chaos on a $10,000 card. Like, kill me now with $200 of interest, $200 in a month.
Yep.
I usually get a.
How many hours of work is that he's been charged in interest? Think about that.
Good income with the disability, the full disability, and the income combined. Like, okay, we're bringing in some monies, and I'm happy about that. But even when people are sitting here, and so far this year they brought in like $400 of interest for a year on their card, I'm like, I get a little queasy, and then I see $200 charged here with a balance of $15,195.
So if I make a $500 payment, over half of that's just going to interest.
Yeah, dude.
So,
That's the danger of racking up these credit cards to the point where you're going to be charged so much interest that most of your payments going to interest, and it's just going to take 10, 15, 20 years to pay it all down. So we're going to look at a few more interest payments, because interest is really what kills you on a credit card. Once you get to those high marks, like we saw that guy, 15 grand, your interest payment could be 200 a month.
When I started this debt-free journey, I had 5 credit cards and PayPal credit, which has meant I've paid a lot of interest over the last couple of years. So I thought I'd give you all some total figures of what I paid. So just in the last year, my first card, post office credit card, I've been charged £66.40 in interest. Next up is PayPal credit. I got charged.
Didn't even know PayPal did credit. I guess they do show up. You could pay in 3 installments. But that's like Klarna. I didn't think PayPal had a credit line.
£7 in interest. Going on to my Capital One card, I got charged £142.50 in interest. That one's now paid off. I don't owe anything on that one anymore. We're now getting into the big figures. So my Aqua credit card, I got charged £234 in interest. Followed on by my John Lewis credit cards.
Why does she have so many credit cards? Why?
£104.24 in interest. And then lastly, my Zopa credit cards, £434.98 in interest.
1,400 paid in interest. That's crazy. That's a month's work. That is insane. That's rent. That's rent money. Like, this, people are just shitting away their money on interest payments for credit cards. I don't think I've ever seen anything as insane as this. This woman saying she has 35 credit cards is insane. How do you even have the time to apply for that many credit cards? I don't understand. 1 or 2 is difficult enough to manage for most people. 35? Like, Jesus.
I have 35 credit cards and I owe $19,000 in them.
At least the balance is not as high as you'd think it would be. If someone has 35 credit cards, you'd expect it to be a lot. She's not even averaging 1,000 per credit card, which is interesting.
$30,000 school loan, which I have not paid, and we take home $60,000. I wanted to pay off some credit cards, but every week it just seems that I'm paying something. Like all minimums is just living paycheck by paycheck.
Okay, are you ready to endure some pain to get rid of this mess?
It's going to leave us with hardly anything.
Are you ready to endure some pain to get rid of this mess?
Yes, I am.
What about your husband?
The fact that she didn't answer straight away kind of tells me she's not. That's the thing. A lot of people don't want to compromise their lifestyle to pay off the debt and in the long term make their lives better.
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right. Yes, and the two of you need to sit down together, go on everydollar.com and do your budget tonight.
Okay.
You can download it to your iPhone or your Android or your desktop. It's free. A check comes in, all the money goes out, and then you're broke and you can't figure out how to go to the grocery store.
Yes, exactly.
You're not living by any kind of plan. This money is owning you. You don't own it.
Yes.
And you got to get the other side of it, and the budget helps you do that. You're telling your money what to do instead of wondering where it went.
Okay.
And then you and your husband are in agreement. We're going to sacrifice deeply because I am so sick of living like this.
Yes, definitely.
And when you get sick and tired, you're ready to change your life, kiddo.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, the only way they're going to get out of that is by sacrificing a lot. Luxuries, no trips, no going out to eat. You're just going to have to live the most boring life you can in order to pay off the debt. $188,000 in debt, lives at home. How? I mean, I'm going to assume a lot of it is student loans. I'm going to assume. Let's see.
This is how much debt I have. I'm about $180,000 in debt from both federal and private student loans, my car loan, credit cards. That is all of my debt. I am 24 years old.
I don't understand why people take out such big loans to go to school. I mean, in the UK, it's totally different because you may not have to ever pay it back. But in the US, you got to pay it back. You can't even go through bankruptcy to get rid of it. So it is crazy to see all these young people just from anywhere from, 10,000 to upwards of 200,000 of debt. It's crazy. But you guys let me know. Have you had a credit card debt journey? Have you guys had to pay off credit card? I've never ever missed a payment. I try not to spend on my credit cards because next thing you know, it gets out of control and you can't afford it, especially with the cost of living today. You never know what's going up and how much things are going to cost the next month. But that is all I got for you today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you in the next one.